culture, half black and half Samoan, so it was something that I grew up surrounded by. It was very easy, very natural, so it was something that interested me when I was in middle school. So I chose that type of style of tattooing simply because of my uncle who tattooed me. Really gave me a new perspective as far as what art can also be expanded to, and it's doing this for about 4 years now, and it's great. The story of the shark being the Aumakua, sort of just an ancestor god, and it's something that I tattooed on myself. Shark teeth being the background behind that. Sharks in the back then were gods, and I still believe to this day that they're still gods. The village people did whatever it asked. They never crossed into its territory without asking for permission. But it also provided them with a sense of protection and safety. One day, a woman and a daughter go in the ocean to play, and the shark bites off both their legs. The village people question it, saying, "If we do all this for you, why did you harm one of our own?" So the village people, the shark said, "Well, I didn't see the symbols on your leg. So put the symbols on your leg and I'll protect you." And the symbols happen to be shark teeth. And so I tattooed that on myself, sort of just to relive that story. And it's a sense of ancestry for our family as well, the shark being our ancestor god. So that's one of my favorite stories.
The Europeans used to, they liked the facial tattoo, and they used to trade their heads as currency. Like it would be like something like the Ikaike helmet, like real people's heads, So I think it's always it's got more popular than nowadays that it could be to anybody, but it's been going on for. I was always used to the more of my Mexican and Chamorro side, and knew only a little bit about my Hawaiian culture. So doing it kind of felt like it's bringing me closer to it.
Being someone of non-Polynesian descent and a female has like two things working against me. And it was definitely hard when I was first getting into it, interested in it, to get taken seriously or to have anyone want to teach me. Despite having grown up there, despite having a Polynesian stepfather, there's just a lot of taboos against both those things. But luckily for me, having someone like Trisha Allen, who had sort of paved the way as a white female, very interested in the culture, helped. I wasn't like the first one. And I think just as someone with an immense appreciation for the art and creative ability, because I've been drawing and painting since I was young, I think when people realize that you're taking the Pacific Island history seriously and care a lot about it and want to share that and spread that with others, having that kind of motive, people take it more seriously. One myth that I really like is a Marquesian myth, and it's about Cana, which was sort of like a godlike figure. And his family, he was born to a mother and father that before conceiving Cana, they had only been able to have miscarriages and not completely formed children in the legend. So the mother had given birth to a hand and an eye and an arm and a foot, which were all alive. And she considered them her children, but she hadn't been able to have a fully complete child. So she put all of the children into this basket that she kept in the house. She didn't want to get rid of them because they were still her babies. And finally, when she conceived Kena, they were overjoyed and they raised him as their only son. But when he was about teenage age, the father was really frustrated because he had been super lazy his entire life. So he was banished from the household. And when he was leaving, all his brothers and sisters in the basket started crying. So he brought them with him on his journey. And all of these different pieces, body parts of his brothers and sisters were advising him along his travels, helping him in competitions that he had with various other tribes, and sort of made him the man who he was. He eventually got a full body tattoo by shrinking himself into a small child so that he could get the tattoo done in 7 hours or 7 days instead of 7 months, and then transformed himself back into a full-size man and wanted to go home and surprise his family, which he did, and they welcomed him with open arms and took him back in. But that legend is sort of one of the reasons why Marquesian tattooing has symbols for different body parts, not necessarily forming a whole. There are Marquesian symbols for arms, for eyes, for hands, that all have different meanings to them, and it's thought that maybe it's related to the story of Kano.
Tongan will know a Tongan design, a Fijian will know Fijian design, Samoan will know Samoan design. But there are some designs that are used, for example, the triangles. Triangle is, I wouldn't say it's just a Fijian design. It's used in Hawaii. Hawaiians use the triangles a lot. It's used in Tonga. It's used in Samoa. I'm sure it's used in Tahiti and so on. So there are designs that I would say it's a Fijian design. For example, the comb. And there are a few other designs that is there that I would say any Fijian look at, they can tell this is a Fijian design. And then it breaks down again from a Fijian design to a village, a tribe design. Like I would see, or my sisters or my mom or anybody from my family, they see a design, they know this is from my village. It doesn't matter whether it's hanging in New York or hanging in Japan. If I walk in and say that's my family design right there, it's the heart and the mind knows, that and the spirit knows that that's my design, So so that's how you can differentiate it. Like to somebody that's not from the Pacific, they wouldn't know the difference. They just see, oh, it's a Polynesian design, it's cool, you know. But us as islanders, we know which one belongs to Fijians, which one belongs to Samoans, and with high respect, we intermingle them, you know. I respect the Samoans and the Samoan design so much, you know. And when I create a design, I create it with me respecting their culture. The story that I've heard over, from my elders back in Fiji was also used to mark prisoners of war. When two tribes are fighting, and if this tribe, captures some of their prisoners of war, what they would do is they would flip their eyelids up, and they would tattoo the bottom part of the eyelid. And the story goes is because if they they mark them somewhere else, the guy can go and skin himself, remove that. But if they tattoo under the eyelid, you can cut out an eyelid and you'll have an eye, so eye will be open the whole rest of the time.